If you clicked on this video, we are sure you are intrigued by the happenings behind one of the biggest brand controversies of the year. One minute you are sipping your favorite whiskey, and the next minute it's on the news making headlines for all the wrong reasons. We are talking about Jack Daniels, the iconic whiskey brand that screams Southern charm. But at the moment, this Lynchburg, Tennessee brand has been roaring in the market because of its controversial stance. What stance, you ask? Take a look at it yourself. But why does a whiskey brand label itself under a political ideology? Was the outcome of picking a side a net positive or negative? And why are brands turning woke overnight? Is this a genuine gesture or something far more sinister? And most importantly, what did Jack Daniel respond to these anti-woke comments? Over the years, Jack Daniel has become much more than your average whiskey brand. It has become a pioneer of tradition and quality. Why? The craftsmanship and art that has been put into every element of the product. I mean, think about it for a second. You could have an entire rack of the most expensive liquor racked up on your shelf, and somehow the Jack Daniels will stand out. The credit completely goes to its bottle designs, which have a distinctive square with black label, and signature charcoal mellowing process, known as the Lincoln County process, contribute to its brand image. The standard with which their products are maintained show their right heritage. And it's no surprise that due to this popularity, Jack Daniels has found itself making a mark in pop culture as well. Over the years, the brand has made significant appearances in movies, music, literary works, and whatnot. It was a name well known even among the non-whiskey drinkers. All this led the brand to become a respected symbol worldwide. But lately the brand has been on a rocky road. It all happened when the brand decided to become an advocate for some social issues that are pressing in the society, and what is more relevant than LGBTQ+ rights. Well, it's no surprise that big brands often find themselves in the puddle at least once in their business years. We will talk more about this later in the video, and why they do this. But let's go back to Jack Daniels here for a minute. While this move received a great applause from their consumers, Jack Daniels was faced with a fair share of criticism as well. The brand has been actively supporting LGBTQ+ rights for years now. This had brought with their partnerships with organizations like the Human Rights Campaign, along with participation in Pride Month celebrations. These efforts put in by the company go beyond just marketing, for they go on to represent their commitment towards diversity and inclusion, or at least that's what they claim. Furthermore, they collaborated with LGBTQ+ artists and activists to use their platform to promote equality. As a result of all these events, some critics have labeled the company's actions as woke, which is a term used to describe companies who give off a politically aggressive vibe. They go on to argue that Jack Daniel is definitely trying to engage in virtue signaling, or what they call as trying to align with liberal values, which does not come under genuinely supporting the Pride community. But when you think about it, how can a brand support any community under such a political climate? If you show support, then you're virtue signaling, and if you don't, you're probably someone who is against the community. So it's a lose-lose situation if you ask me. And obviously we can't expect this backlash to just stay online. What followed was that there were calls for boycotts and protests against Jack Daniels. Critics also felt that this was a decisive action and that Jack Daniels was using these issues as a marketing tool. Well, this has to lead and an uproar which even claws, especially in places like Tennessee, Jack Daniels' birthplace. But this is where I'm going to bring in my thesis and share my thoughts. You see, when you imagine a person having whiskey, what image pops onto your head? If you're anything like me, you're probably imagining a middle-aged guy who is all macho. And that's pretty accurately what their market share was before their 2019 marketing strategy. Before 2019, the brand had a pretty solid hold on markets of the South, which are more left-leaning or more Republican in their political ideology. However, like any brand, it's important to capture new markets to grow as a business. So what better way to do than wrapping their Jack Daniels bottles with the Pride flag? The Pride community was unbelievably happy, and people cheered Jack Daniels for its inclusive approach. Supporters saw the brand's stance as a positive move towards equality and appreciated its efforts to use its platform for social good. They believed that the brand's actions were a reflection of its core values, and there was a way to drive meaningful change within the industry with such campaigns. However, Jack Daniels didn't stop there. To show their support, the brand introduced whiskey bottles with rainbow labels for Pride Month to raise awareness. But guess what? The rainbow design became a focal point for both praise and criticism. Critics argued it was a superficial gesture, while supporters saw it as a symbol of inclusivity and progress. But hey, the element of surprise here is that despite the backlash, Jack Daniels seems to have weathered the storm. Yeah, you heard that right. Market data suggests that the brand has continued to perform well, indicating that engaging in social issues can have long-term benefits. Research shows that brands that stand up for social causes often see stronger customer loyalty and a better reputation among younger consumers. So while the backlash may have created some short-term turbulence, Jack Daniels' commitment could pay off in the long run. So how did Jack Daniels respond to this backlash? Well, in response to the criticism, Jack Daniels took a proactive approach. They issued statements that reaffirmed their commitment to diversity and inclusion. The company used press releases, social media, and public statements to explain that their inclusive practices are a core part of their values, not just a recent trend. They engaged directly with both supporters and critics, thanking their loyal customers and addressing concerns by highlighting the positive impacts of their diversity initiatives. Let's take a look at Robbie Starbuck, who opposed the brand's notions and has been flooding the social media with his statements. Take a look.
Parent company has promised to do. They say they are going to cut woke trainings, they're going to end the quantitative workforce and supplier diversity ambitions, which essentially operate as racial quotas, which should never happen no matter what the race is. Participation in the HRC's CEI scoring, which stands for Corporate Equality Index. That scoring system is responsible for forcing wokeness into the workplace. It is essentially, if a company wants a 100% CEI score, they have to pay for transitions, they have to pay for puberty blockers for kids, they have to support men and women's bathrooms, they have to support the whole thing. Flags in the workplace, funding pride parades, not an avenue to push social or political objectives. The meme has been updated, but we are running out of room.
Despite the backlash, Jack Daniels continued promoting their message. They maintained visibility for their pride-themed merchandise, and special edition bottles continued to be designed to celebrate LGBTQ+ pride. This move went on to be a testament to their commitment to inclusivity. However, Jack Daniels played it smart. They took a more balanced approach by engaging in constructive dialogue with both supporters and detractors. They addressed concerns and showcased the benefits of their diversity effort. The company made it clear that their support for LGBTQ+ rights is not a passing trend, but a fundamental aspect of their brand identity. Plus, corporate activism is on the rise, with more and more companies stepping into the spotlight on social and political issues. These days, it's almost expected for brands to take a stand and show they care about more than just making a profit. Many businesses see this as a powerful way to forge a deeper connection with their customers. But here's where it gets interesting. Taking a stand can be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it can help build a devoted following of customers who appreciate the brand's commitment to social responsibility. So, while standing up for a cause might win you loyal supporters, it might also draw criticism from those who prefer their brands to stick to the basics. Remember how we mentioned that Jack Daniels is not alone in facing such challenges. Even with massive support from its audience, Nike found itself in a puddle when faced significant backlash for featuring Colin Kaepernick in an ad campaign. Kaepernick, who was known for his protest against racial injustice, sparked both support and criticism. Videos of people destroying their Nike sneakers and socks were all that were the hype. While some accused Nike of disrespecting the flag and called for boycotts, on the other hand, the campaign resonated with younger, diverse consumers and boosted Nike's sales.
Knew exactly what the reaction would be. They were fully prepared for every single possible criticism that was coming out, but also there are some ovations. So they figured, you know what, this is a risk that we're ready to take.
Similarly, Bud Light's partnership with transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney drew criticism from some who felt the brand was engaging in political activism and alienating traditional customers. Consumers didn't appreciate the activist's face being printed on the bottles. The backlash included calls for boycotts and reported declines in sales.
The company saw a huge backlash and had lost more than $5 billion in value, seeing a huge movement of Bud Light fans turn against the business. Many celebrities got in on the revolt.
These examples are good enough to show the tightrope that brands have to walk when they take a stand on such social issues. One wrong word here or there, and it might all go downhill for them. Almost like playing with fire, sometimes you get burned, and other times you light up the room. Coming back to our prime example, Jack Daniels, they've stirred the pot with their support for LGBTQ+ rights, and the reaction has been nothing short of a social media roller coaster. What we have learned from the Jack Daniels case is that a backlash like this requires a delicate balance between staying true to core values and addressing concerns from various stakeholders. So, what do you feel is the final verdict? Did Jack Daniels get it right with their commitment to LGBTQ+ rights, or was it a risky gamble after all? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Did Jack Daniels make the right call, or did they misjudge their audience? If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to stay updated on the latest in corporate controversies and beyond, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. And if you've got other brands or stories you're curious about, let us know what we should dive into next. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next video. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and cheers to the next adventure.